Let's go. If you letting people tell you can't do things and you believe in that, hey, cut that out, man, for real. Cut this up. All right. What's going on, folks? Look who's finally back. Welcome to another exciting episode of Strong Arm Sports. I'm KSpadeTheProspect.
I'm your boy Leparis 57, and together we form Strong Arm Sports. I'm back. Let's go. Let's kick it off.
We got what? It's a wait. You're not gonna believe this, man. For the first time ever, we got a caller. It's a caller calling into the. All right, go ahead, caller. You on?
Yeah, this D Rose.
Mm-hmm. Who?
Yeah, Derek.
It's Derek. What's up, Derek?
I like the show and all, but how y'all gonna talk about me and Leparis can't
right.
play through the flu?
Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, D Rose. We didn't even know you watched the show, man. We appreciate that.
Okay.
Wow. Derek Rose himself calls in and bangs the cannon on Leparis, man. You need to get your durability up, man. He has a good point.
Yeah, man. I gotta. He right. I gotta play her. I want him to play her. He right. I gotta play her.
Absolutely
Let's
right.
Let's kick it off, though.
We got a great show,
Don't need to prolong it.
And I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to start this show off this week, man. The show has been growing. It's doing good. You know, from time to time when I'm out, people come up to me and talk to me about the show. And somebody says, Spade, why are you guys not giving the Hawks any love? And I just kind of laughed it off and said, I guess because I really don't believe the Hawks. But I started to look into it, and I decided it deserves some attention. So the Atlanta Hawks lead the Eastern Conference in the NBA with a 24-8 record. If that's not shocking enough, like LeBron said, not one, not two, not three, not four, but all five of the Atlanta Hawks starters averaged double-digit points. And this team looked like they got the East in a headlock. In fact, they just went on a road trip, played some of the best teams in the West, and knocked up some of them boys. So, Leparis, the East, is it really ran by the Atlanta Hawks? Could the Hawks be the team to represent the East?
Now, let me tell you something. The Atlanta Hawks, matter of fact, let me just start off with saying this. The Atlanta Hawks are serious. They are for real. I know y'all like, oh, whoa, Chicago Bull fan. Relax, let me explain.
You better explain.
First of all, I'm about to. First of all, I like their head coach. Their head coach come from that Popovich tree. And you know Popovich is the type of, you said they got 5 players averaging in double figures. Not only that, they have a very deep bench. Like, they don't have to depend on 1 or 2 or 3 guys. They can depend on the whole bench. When Teague went down, Sheldon Mack stepped in. Dennis Schroeder, as Nike would say, stepped in. And, I mean, they were right at home as starters in their lineup. They all contributed. So, I want to say that the Atlanta Hawks, thanks to their coach, I think they are the real deal. Now, me being a Chicago Bulls fan, I don't want to say this, but I'm about to say this. I can see the Atlanta Hawks winning the East. Now, let me tell you why. I can see the Atlanta Hawks winning the East. The Atlanta Hawks, and I know what you're going to say, Spade. You're going to say they really don't have that size. But aside from the Chicago Bulls, who else they have to worry about with size in the East? In the East. I ain't talking about the West. In the East. Aside from the Bulls.
That's a good point. And I was going to touch on that. I was going to say, when I look at them on paper, they look really good. The only thing that concerns me about this team is it's a small team. They don't really have a big and you just drove, that's a very good point you drove home. The Pacers got the big in the East and Hibbert, and they trash, so you don't really have to worry about the Pacers this year. Miami kind of proved that you can do it without a true big. Miami really never had a big lineup. I don't know, though.
You got the Wiz with Nene and
Gortat. You got Powell and whoever the hell y'all starting out there. Noah, Taj, whoever y'all decide to play. And then at the same time, if the Cavaliers get healthy, then, you got Varejao and Love. Those guys are still bigger than what Atlanta has. And the big, from a rim protection issue, is a question. But also at the same time, when you look at rebounds, I guess it's because this team is sharing the stats. But rebounds are down. Al Horford is only averaging about 6 rebounds a game. And I think Paul Millsap is pulling in about 5 or 6. So there's nobody there really snatching rebounds, and I question their rim protection ability. But other than that, and they may not need that in the East, because like we just said, these teams aren't really, plus the NBA don't even really have dominant bigs like they did once upon a time. So who knows? Maybe the Hawks could get there, but being a person that is born and raised in Georgia and saw the Hawks all my life, I don't know. I can't really say I think they're the real deal yet. I think they're exciting to watch. I think they're a hell of a regular season team. I don't know what they're going to look like in those playoffs. But speaking of Hawks, man, I think you got some news for us that's somehow related.
Yeah, definitely. Josh Smith was waived by the Pistons, ended up signing with the Rockets. But before you touch on how you feel about that with the Pistons waiving Josh and him going to, because he had a lot of teams out there wanted Josh Smith. It was Miami in there. I want to say the Lakers wanted him. It was the Rockets. It was like a couple of more teams that was in the mix for Josh Smith. But he ended up signing with the Rockets. But before you tell me how you feel about that, let me give them another tidbit. The Pistons, let me tell you about the Pistons are 4-0 since waiving Josh Smith, and the Rockets are 1-3 since inserting Josh Smith into their starting lineup. How you feel about that?
That don't look too good for you, Josh. That don't look too good for you, Josh. Man, I like Josh Smith. Josh Smith has always been a player, in my opinion, that just never was willing to accept his role. When he was in Atlanta at one point, he was asking for a max deal. He wanted a max deal. And Josh Smith is not a bad player, but he wants to be a jump shooter, and he's not a jump shooter. He's a very athletic player, and these teams are wanting his athleticism. And I know that his first game in Houston, they won, and they was like, it was a great. I remember joking with Leparis. I was like, it's all fun and games in that locker room now. Let's wait till, it's some close games and Josh Smith is out there 0 for 5 beyond the arc and see how they feel about it. But I kind of felt like he would land in Houston because Josh Smith and Dwight Howard, they got a pretty good friendship off the court. So I felt like that's probably where he would land. I don't think he necessarily makes that team better. I really don't.
Let me ask you a question, because you've seen a lot of Josh Smith, being in the Atlanta area. Why does Josh Smith shoot so many jumpers? Do he not have a post-up game? Can he not post up?
I don't think he has a post game. I don't think he's tried to develop a post game. I think he wants to prove to everyone who says he's not a good jump shooter that he is a good jump shooter. Instead of conceding and say, you know what? That part of my game is not. Look at D Wade. D Wade is not a great jump shooter, but he still can find a way to contribute to his team, and I want to see Josh Smith do that. You're not a jump shooter, Josh. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Just do the things you do well, do that. And then, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, him being with Houston, he really don't have to be a jump shooter. They have Ariza who's really, he can shoot.
And they got the guy with the beard.
Harden is, Harden is lights out from. He got limitless range. Harden has limitless range. Indeed. So he really don't have to do that. He go down there, he play defense, he rebound. I like the fit if he go there and do the right things. But if he over there, he's shooting threes and taking deep mid-range jump shots, I don't think that's going to work out. I really don't think that's going to work out.
It'll be interesting to see how things play out. But let's keep the show moving forward, definitely. Man. Let's move from one athletic swing man to another. Let's talk LeBron James. LeBron James just celebrated his 30th birthday. And just when I was thinking, wow, like LeBron seems to be catching me. At some point, I felt like I was like 10 years older than LeBron. Now I look back and LeBron is right here. But at any rate, I'm not the only one looking at that. LeBron has decided that he will not play for the next 2 weeks. He put a post on Instagram to say it's about time I start listening to, my family and the team doctors and, my teammates and start taking care of my body. And he recently looked at the amount of minutes played and they saw that he had played, like 12,000 more minutes than MJ before MJ was 30. Yeah. And, the big question is LeBron really concerned with his body and his health? Or is he frustrated with the situation in Cleveland? Because it recently came out that LeBron is not really feeling that coach out there either. So which one do you think it is?
It could be a little bit of both, but I kind of think, LeBron want to let, sit back, relax, and look at the team from the outside. When he on the court, he playing, you really can't see things when you on the court. If he sit out a couple of weeks, which he want to blame it on him playing 3,000 more minutes than Kobe, 12,000 more minutes than MJ. You want to blame it on that? Okay, whatever. I think he kind of just decided to have a seat, look at the team from the outside, see where where things need to be, and then he's gonna come back and I think he'll get right with Cleveland. But I remember we was talking about this probably before we even started this show. You told me about the coach Black. You told me that he was gonna have trouble.
Yep.
And bruh, when you right, you right. Because I was like, man, basketball is basketball. If he could coach over there, he could coach over there. And I was absolutely wrong. This guy seems to not be able to get it together over there in Cleveland. So you was absolutely right about that. So I gotta give you kudos to that. But I kind of think that LeBron, he probably is looking at the minutes, and maybe he has some little knick-knack injuries, some little ticky-tack injuries that he want to, let heal before he go on his playoff run, towards the playoff, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think it's a little bit of both. I really don't know where to go with it. It's also some rumors coming out there saying that, maybe they shouldn't have picked up Kevin Love. So it's some friction in that locker room. Maybe not. Maybe the whole media don't know about. Maybe they don't want to share. But it looks like it's some problems in Cleveland. It looks like it's a lot of problems in Cleveland.
They got some issues, man. You got some of the Cleveland fans, and you know what? Clearly, this doesn't apply to every one of the fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But for those that it applied to, I hate the Cavaliers. I hate the Cavaliers. Yeah. I hate the GM over there, the owner, whatever the hell he is, the owner of Fatheads. I hate Dan Gilbert. And at some point, I hate the Cavaliers fans. Some Cavaliers fans have already started a petition to get rid of Kevin Love. We're not even at the halfway mark yet. And I mean, this is a new situation for all the players involved. I know all of the players are frustrated. Kevin Love is thinking, if we're not going to win over here, at least when I wasn't winning in Minnesota, I was the man. Now we're not winning, and I got people that want to get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? All the problems. It's crazy.
They actually burned his jersey.
That's ridiculous,
in the streets. Yo. Yeah, man.
That's ridiculous. What else we got, bro?
Yo, moving forward, let's talk about some Kobe Bryant. Kobe seemed to be one of SAS favorites. We always talking about Kobe. Kobe in the news this week. Kobe says that the European players are more skillful than American players because the AAU scene sucks. He said it sucks. It's terrible. He's actually said, quote unquote, it's horrible, it's terrible. That's what Kobe said. Yep. So all you American players that love Kobe to death, he just crapped on the whole AAU system.
Yeah.
Saying that European players are more skillful than American players. And he also mentioned guys like Pau Gasol. He also mentioned guys like Marc Gasol and players on the Spurs roster. Like the whole Spurs roster, he said. True. So how do you feel about that, Spade?
Well, I don't know. Now, I don't want to, you know me, I'm a straight shooter. I like to either stand over here or over here. I don't want to seem like I'm on the fence, but I'll buy some of what Kobe was selling. I do feel like it's a bigger emphasis on fundamentals with European players. Now, this one right here is probably going to rub some people wrong, but I feel like on average, when you take, more players, I think U.S. players are more athletic, so they don't have to rely on fundamentals so much. You got players
Is that a good thing?
Huh?
Is that a good thing?
It is, but it's not. I mean, you got players like Josh Smith, who's athletic. It's gotten him to the league, and his fundamentals are horrible. But, I mean, I don't feel like it's fair to say that. Kobe said you got players like Pau Gasol and Marc Gasol, and they were brought up, in the European system. They know fundamentals. That's why they're good. And he's talking about bigs, but you look at LaMarcus Aldridge, who I feel like would cook either one of those Gasol brothers. I think Big Zebo would cook either one of those Gasol brothers. You got Noah. You got Taj Gibson. It's a lot of bigs in the league that are U.S. players that probably play AAU ball. That's nice. And I can see what he's saying. I know for a fact you can go to ball, whatever you want to call them, playgrounds, and see guys playing, and you can see guys out there trying to work on that crossover. They want to kill a crossover, and then they can't make the layup. It's a lot of that going on. But to just bash the U.S. AAU system as a whole and then name two teams, he basically said that 90% of the Spurs players are European, and That's why the Spurs is good, which is a slap in Popovich's face. I guess Pop is not a good coach. You just get a bunch of European players and you win. And Kobe knows that's not true, because if that was the case, it would be more teams in the league that's 90% European players. So I don't know if I can agree with Kobe. He has a point. It's some truth to it, but ultimately I got to disagree with that. I know that was a long-winded answer, but hey, that's what I do.
Nah, I mean, I totally... What you said verbatim, I totally agree with what you said. The list of European players in the league is slim compared to the great American. And, you know, this is not bashing either or. I'm not bashing either or.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the great European players in the NBA are slim to none compared to the great American players that we had, in the NBA. And that's just what it is. And I'm not saying, I don't really follow FIBA like that. I really don't follow basketball over there, so somebody could probably be like, well, this guy is comparable to Michael Jordan over here. I don't know that.
I don't either.
I'm just telling you what I seen. I'm just telling you what I seen, and I just think Kobe kind of pushed it a little bit with this, man. I can't wait to hear what you guys say about Kobe,
because you guys love yourself some Kobe.
Love Kobe. You guys love Kobe. So
love yourself some Kobe.
We can move on, Spade.
So.
I just can't wait to see the comments on this.
I agree, but man, you okay with us moving forward?
Yeah, we can move on.
Let's talk about the NFL for a minute, man. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since
that's where I want to be anyway.
I know. You wanted to start the show with NFL. I wanted to save it.
Yeah.
But it's been a couple of weeks since we've been talking to you guys, so we got some kind of old news to talk about. We got to talk about all these NFL coaches that's in that unemployment line right now. Atlanta let Mike Smith go. The Jets let Rex Ryan go. Jim Harbaugh just let the 49ers go. I mean, so many things. Trestman was let go. And then a move that nobody saw coming, Doug Marrone basically let Buffalo go. I mean, it's some crazy things going on. I had my own picks. I really felt like Rex Ryan would land in Atlanta. And I thought that was a good move. But when I found out that Rex Ryan got interviews with Atlanta and San Francisco, if I'm Rex Ryan... and I'm looking at the rosters, and I'm thinking about all that talent out there in San Francisco, I'm on my way to the Bay. All right? So I don't know what Rex is going to do. You got any idea where you feel like these guys might land?
I'm going to tell you why your insight on that is right. Rex Ryan is a defensive guy. We know San Francisco as being a defensive team. Could you imagine Rex? Now, San Fran had a lot of injuries and a lot of stupid things happen on the defensive side of the ball, meaning like Aldon Smith.
I knew it.
Just dumb. Could you imagine? Rex Ryan had that front seven of the Jets looking amazing. Imagine what he's going to do with Navarro Bowman back, Pat Willis, Aldon Smith. Come on, man. That's scary. That's scary. So I kind of like that fit if Rex Ryan was to go over there. But, I mean, we also got to talk about Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone pretty much opted out his contract with the Bills, and he had some interest with the Jets. Like, the Jets said, and I kind of think it was some shady dealings.
Me too, bro.
I don't know how you feel. I kind of think it was some shady dealings right there. They was like, oh, you can opt, because Doug Marrone could only opt out of his coaching job with the Bills if the Bills sold the team, which everybody knew was going to happen.
Right.
So that happened. Doug Marrone opted out, and now fresh off the line, Doug Marrone has a job offer. A job interview, with the Jets. Yeah. And I was like, man, so Doug Marrone is that coach? Like, he's that guy?
Right.
I mean, I thought the Jets would have got a bigger name, would have got a bigger hire. I thought they would have tried and get Gruden out of the booth. But, I guess that's not going to happen. Gruden saying he ain't going anywhere. I kind of thought that Chicago would have tried to get Bill Cowher out the booth. Because, Bill Cowher just got that type of grittiness that Chicago, I think, needs. But it don't look like Bill Cowher coming out the booth. Also, a couple things I want to report on. I'm checking my phone right now. The Redskins asked for permission to interview the Bills defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz
and
the 49ers defensive coordinator, I think his name Fangio. I think his name is Fangio.
And got what?
And they were denied. No.
They were denied.
So that's not
talking to our coordinator.
I mean, see, this right here is, we have to see where a lot of these coaches go. I actually think that Chicago might go to the collegiate level and try and get a college coach, because I I don't know, man. I don't know how people feel about Jay Cutler. If I was a head coach, I don't know if I would want Jay Cutler as my QB. And I'm trying to pick the best. I'm trying to pick the best roster available. That's what I would try to do.
Yeah, I agree.
If I was a head coach.
Not only do you have to deal with having Jay Cutler as your quarterback, but maybe with a contract that you can't unload. So that's definitely in the back of you. You talking about
another
Gruden.
Good point, bro.
Gruden got a sweet deal over there. He get a chance to talk to these rookie quarterbacks, and ESPN cut him that check. You know, he talked to these rookie quarterbacks for like 2 months before the draft. And then he just kind of chill and hang out. I mean, he still works, don't get me wrong, but he chill and hang out the rest of the year. That's a whole lot less stressful than watching Jay Cutler throw to the other damn team. All right? So, I ain't coming out of retirement to deal with Jay Cutler.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Well, let's jump ahead, man.
You made another good one more point. You made another good point about a head coach going to Chicago dealing with Jay Cutler. If they can't trade Jay Cutler, I definitely wouldn't go, because if I'm a head coach going to Chicago and it's him or me, you know it's going to be me. You know it's going to be me because they can't get rid of this contract.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
If it's trade Jay Cutler or fire me, you're pretty much getting fired. I wouldn't take that job.
Me either.
I would not take that job.
Me either.
Unless your money got to be guaranteed. If you're a head coach and you about to go to Chicago, guarantee your money. Guarantee your money.
You ain't lying.
But I'm ready to move on. You good?
Yeah, let's move on, man. I want to talk about, we're not going to try to talk about all games, but we are in the playoffs here in the NFL, so we picked one NFC game and one AFC game to talk about here in the early round, the wild card round. So early on, man, I want to put the pressure on you. Let's talk Cowboys, Lions. Who do you like and why?
Man, y'all already know I'm going doomsday defense Dallas, baby, all day. I'm a Cowboys fan. I might be biased. Only thing that really scares me, but you kind of ease my pain a little bit, man. Your boy been sick a little bit. You know what I mean? We still been communicating.
Oh, yeah.
But you kind of ease my pain with this game because I was like, man, Calvin Johnson scares the crap out of me. Every time the Cowboys play against Calvin Johnson or any type of big-time wide receiver, Randy Moss cooked us, Jerry Rice cooked us, Calvin Johnson cooked us. I mean, the list could go on. Andre Reed cooked us. The list goes on and on. You know what I mean? So anytime we play these big-time wide receivers, we get cooked. But you told me that I have something to look forward to, and that was Matthew Stafford. So shout out to Matthew Stafford for making me feel better about the situation. Because if I know Matthew Stafford, like KSpadeTheProspect know Matthew Stafford, like the rest of the world know Matthew Stafford, there will be some mistakes made.
Oh yeah.
So I'm definitely going with the Cowboys.
So
definitely.
You this is your pick now, not your fan pick. This is your pick. You like Dallas. Okay.
Yeah, I like Dallas.
I just wanted to put the pressure on you.
One thing I didn't like, which we really didn't get to talk about, and Ndamukong Suh winning his appeal.
That's crazy.
If Ndamukong Suh if he was out, I would feel a lot more confident because I will feel like we could push the defensive line a little more because I think Nick Fairley is a little bit beat up as well. But Suh's there, now it's gonna be something. We want to run the ball, but now our offensive line got to show up. It's gonna be one of them games. We got to show up.
Agreed. So, hey, let's jump over to the other side. Let's talk Ravens, Steelers. Who do you like in this game and why?
I like how you didn't make your pick. I like how you didn't make your pick.
Well, I mean, I was somewhat in agreement. I mean, my whole thing is I just feel like if Dallas does what they did at the end of the regular season, I think they're good to go.
Okay.
I'm scared of Tony Romo, and I'm scared of Matthew Stafford. I don't want to bet on either one of those guys. You never know what either one of those guys are going to do. But I definitely feel like if you put the teams on both sides, you compare, the Lions do have Calvin, but, I mean, Dallas has Dez. And Dez has been eating. And I feel like right now Dallas has a better running game than Detroit. So I'm okay going Dallas in this game. I go Dallas.
Okay. AFC, you talking about Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Who I want to win. Now this was a tough game for me.
No, bro.
What?
Who you got winning? If you let me paint this picture for you. You starving, your stomach growling, you got $5 to your name, and $5 won't quite get you a meal that'll fill you up, but you got a chance to bet that $5 and make $500 on it. Who you putting that $5 on?
I'm gonna go Steelers. I'm gonna go Steelers. But the only reason I'm hesitant about that is because Le'Veon Bell is out, man. Le'Veon Bell is accountable for 40% of the yards that the Steelers have on offense. 40%. That is, man, that's a large number, man. And that's why I'm a little shaky with this game right here. 40% of the offense made Le'Veon Bell. That is bananas. That is bananas.
That's crazy.
Man, that scares me. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I'm a little. If Le'Veon was healthy and playing, I'd be like, it's Pittsburgh all day. It's Pittsburgh. But that's the only. I want to go Pittsburgh, but I'm a little hesitant. Who you got though?
I'm gonna go Pitt. You know me. I always look at the quarterbacks. I don't trust Joe Flacco. I don't like that guy's game. And then
the $100 million man.
Don't get me started. And then even though Le'Veon Bell is a big piece that Pittsburgh to be missing, they still got Antonio Brown, who's been playing amazing. And Big Ben has been playing pretty good too. So I expect them to connect with each other on a few scores, maybe 2. Okay, you heard it here first. Okay, Antonio Brown 2 scores in this game, man. So I think the Steelers got this one. So we're in agreement. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, finally.
I don't know what minutes you taking, but it must be the good stuff.
Must be the good stuff.
Taking the strong
Let's move on though. Let's move on. This weekend there's a huge fight in the UFC. Now, I know we don't usually talk a lot of UFC, a lot of boxing. Boxing to me is down cheeks. But there's a big fight going on in the UFC. And it's Jon Bones Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Now, for starters, I know a lot of y'all going to be like, Jon Bones Jones, he a beast, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Daniel Cormier ain't no hoe. Like, he is not a slouch.
Not at all.
I hope it's an amazing fight. These guys have been going back and forth for months. The fight previous got postponed. I think Jon Bones Jones hurt himself practicing, so the fight got postponed, and it's happening this weekend. These guys have been going back and forth with verbal jabbage for months. So I think this could be a bloodbath. Spade, I know you don't know too much about UFC. I don't know if you really into it like that, but I want to know, who do you have?
Well,
I'm pretty sure you heard about
this. I don't follow UFC enough to give a pick. I will say this, as somebody who's not really a UFC fan, I would pay money for this fight. This fight right here, and this is what the UFC needs, in my opinion, to be successful. This fight right here transcends outside of the UFC. People that don't watch UFC know Jon Bones Jones, and thanks to this interview where maybe they didn't know the mic was still on, everybody wants to see this fight. So it made me do some digging, and I found out that Daniel Cormier is yet to lose a round. Not a fight.
Yeah, man.
A round. So, I mean, he's a big guy. Man. He's short, but he's I imagine if he can get inside and maybe get some takedowns on Jones, who knows where this thing could go. So, I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm just excited. Like you said, boxing is down, and I don't really get excited about fights. People are like, Mayweather's fighting so-and-so. You going to see that fight? And I'm like, hell no. Everybody knows Mayweather's going to win this fight. But this fight, I honestly think could go either way. I think people feel like it could go either way. So I think that's good for UFC, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Definitely. Want to move on to the strong arm performance of the week?
Let's do it. So we're going to do the strong arm performance of the week a little different. Like I said, you guys haven't seen us in 2 weeks, so we took 2 weeks basically to choose who we wanted for a strong arm performer. I had one and threw out my old one and picked me a new one. So I don't know what Leparis is doing on here, so let's put him on the spot. Leparis, who is your strong arm performer of the weeks?
Well, for the week that we didn't post, it was going to be Russell Wilson. He had an amazing game week 16. Kind of didn't have a good one last week. But man, week 17, I went with Geno Smith against the Dolphins, who was 20 of 25. 20 of 25. Geno, we talk about Geno Smith, was 20 of 25, 358 yards, and 3 TDs against the Dolphins. Geno Smith.
That was all
the
right.
Jets.
That's all
Geno
right.
Smith. He cooked. Shout out to Geno Smith. You are my strong arm performer of the week. Geno, if the Jet fans have this to look forward to, they are in good hands. But if they got week 1 through 16, Geno, they in trouble. But I ain't gonna rain on your parade, Geno. You are my strong arm performer of the week.
Enjoy it, Geno. You'll never be back on this show again. All right, my strong arm performer, man. I want to go to NCAA football. I want to give my strong arm performer to Melvin Gordon, who had an amazing game. Let me get my stats right. 34 carries, 251 rushing yards, and 3 TDs against the powerful SEC, against Auburn.
Yeah, man.
And they won that game in overtime. And let's be honest, I mean, this team has been going to the bowl game. They go to the bowl game just to take their L back to the house. That's what they've been doing. They go to the bowl game, they get an L, they go back home. And they were able to break that trend this year, and it is by nobody. Nobody could have changed that tradition other than Melvin Gordon. He is definitely hands down the reason this team was successful in that bowl game. And that guy's a beast.
That's right.
And yo, he got a bright future. So Melvin, you are my strong arm performer of the week. Now, you guys are probably wondering why we didn't talk about any NCAA football this entire show, and that's because we wanted to do something a little special for you guys. We talked about NCAA football for so long that we decided to clip it up and make it an entirely different episode. So you guys are going to get not 1, but 2 episodes from us. So this is the conclusion of episode 1. Not really, because this is actually episode 10. So matter of fact, man, kudos to us. We finally hit double-digit episodes, man.
That's right, man. And we can't do it without you guys' support. You guys have been there. You guys be in the comment section.
Yes,
in the comment section. Whether you agree or disagree with us, it's always welcome, man. It's always welcome. So definitely bang the like. Definitely leave your comments. I cannot wait to see what you guys think about Kobe Bryant. That topic. I cannot wait. So we'll see you guys next episode. This has been Strong Arm Sports. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Money team.